Okay.
Hey guys, and welcome to Tnashi's Movie Corner, and I am bringing you another matchup in this animated tournament. We have Rise of the Guardians versus Toy Story. So in order to determine the winner of this matchup, we go based upon plot, main characters, side characters, songs, humor, villain slash antagonist, cast, romance, action, themes, and memorability. Alright, let's get right into it with plot. And for plot, I went and gave it to Toy Story. Why? Well, Rise of the Guardians has a pretty good plot, but they get a little sidetracked in it, and the main reason for everything happening, everything falling into place, it kind of goes haywire. I don't know for what they were trying to do with it. I just don't think it was as focused as Toy Story was, which is funny because Toy Story, you're not entirely sure where they're gonna go, but you see the end route. But they have a great way of going from set piece to set piece, moving the plot along a lot better than Rise of the Guardians, which feels like stuff happens out of left field. For main character, though, we went ahead and gave that to Rise of the Guardians. Honestly, I think Toy Story has two really good main characters for it. I think, overall, Woody and Buzz are really good characters. But I feel like for Rise of the Guardians, for the character we get for Jack Frost, you can really identify with him. And I think that works better. I think that really translates better and really helps the story along, even if it goes off track. For side characters, though, we went with Toy Story. Honestly, Rise of the Guardians have side characters that are more involved, yet less memorable, and don't really do a whole bunch, whereas Toy Story has side characters that may be a little less involved in the plot, but at least you remember them, and at least they all showcase quite a bit personality. Moving on to songs, we went and gave that to Toy Story. Rise of the Guardian doesn't have that many songs, whereas Toy Story has songs that you remember time and again, and for good reason. And while it's not necessary to the story, it does kind of help. So moving on to humor, we also gave that one to Toy Story. It has a lot more of a focus on humor and delivers it great, whereas Rise of the Guardians has a little humor in it, and it's kind of hit or miss. Moving on to villain, we gave villain to Rise of the Guardians. Really, there's not much of a villain or antagonist in Toy Story, except for, in some cases, Woody, but we didn't put him there, and Sid. But you have, when you have Jude Law as Pitch, and because of his character, because of how much of a presence he is in the film and what he attempts to do through manipulation and through showcasing his power and how he goes about it, it works really well up until about the last third of the movie where things dip off. Moving along to cast. Cast could have been pretty tough when you have a movie with Chris Pine, Alec Baldwin, Jude Law, Isla Fisher, Hugh Jackman. All those people doing voice work. You would have thought we would have given it to Guardians, but we gave it to Toy Story because, again, Toy Story has characters where their voices, the voices really lend themselves to the characters, and it helps you to identify the characters and remember them. Whereas Rise of the Guardians, the characters are quite forgettable. The voice work doesn't help there. So moving on to romance, we went and gave that to Toy Story because it's the only one that has romance, so that's kind of an easy one. Moving on to action, we gave action to Rise of the Guardians. Another easy one because Rise of the Guardians is more of an action-based film. It has a lot more focus on that, and there's several fight sequences. Then moving on to themes, we also gave that to Rise of the Guardians due to the fact of Jack Frost. It showcases a lot of themes around him, and around pitch as well, to an extent. Yes, there's quite a few in Toy Story, and they work well, I think. But I think Rise of the Guardians just does a little bit better at showcasing it. And then moving on to memorability, we gave that to Toy Story. There's just too many scenes that really stand out in Toy Story versus Guardians. Guardians has a few scenes, one with Jack Frost in the past and how he became Jack Frost. Another, there's a fight scene that's memorable. But Toy Story has a lot more, between the toys, first showing up in Sid's room, or Woody and Buzz flying, or Buzz attempting to fly out a window, or what have you. There's just too many scenes that really hold in to you, not only because of what is taking place, but because of how the acting is done, how it looks visually. Everything just kind of, works really well in setting this scene up, that really helps you to, really recall it, no matter, years later. It really does a good job, whereas Guardians has some nice scenes to it, and a few here or there that are memorable, but they just don't stand out as much. So that'll wrap this up, and we have a 4-7 vote in favor of Toy Story, so Toy Story wins. And I'm gonna be honest, thank God. I say in other videos, and I probably should have said in this one, I tried to be very objective in my determining how these matchups go and everything, and Rise of the Guardians made it really far, and I commend it for that. And I enjoy the movie, but I don't enjoy the movie nearly as much as I enjoyed some of the other ones that actually got eliminated sooner. Again, not trying to be subjective here, and actually go by the criteria. So Rise of the Guardians made it pretty far, but I think Toy Story absolutely deserves this win. But hey, what do I know? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below what you guys thought. Hopefully you enjoyed this vid. Click that like button, share this video, subscribe to my channel, comment on the other videos, share your opinions. Come on, I want to hear from you guys. Alright, like I said, I'll wrap this up, so until next time, peace.